Hi, YouTube channel. It's been quite a long time since I've spoken to all of you. And to be honest, right now I'm not even in the greatest mood and I'm pretty tired, so I'm not sure how this is all going to come out. But what I'm focusing on today is acceptance of self and how that can be done by doing self-care practices. I think it's fair to say that 2016 maybe took a lot of us down, took a lot of us by surprise, um, has taken us down to the basement of the bare minimum of really what life can be like sometimes as far as health and finances and tragedy and loss and grief and changes that are out of our control. It feels like 2016 just handed us everything that we have to look at and didn't let us look away, and it's still happening. Obviously, there's big things that have happened in the nation that you've probably been paying attention to that change a lot of our lives. But I'm kind of here to help you figure out how to get through it because I've been going through the mud since I did my last video, basically since I've moved to California, which was July 2015, and it's now December 2016. So I can only hope that the new year brings new things, but I'm in that stage where I'm just learning to accept. So by acceptance, I mean taking the way that your body feels or the way that your emotions are and accepting it and saying, you know what, it's valid. It's valid that I am completely falling apart because I feel like trash. My body isn't listening to me, or my boss is being a jackass and it's really hard to handle right now. Just because you accept things does not mean that you approve of how they are. So my acceptance of my body being in shambles does not mean that I think it's okay. It's just that I'm resisting the urge to have this form of like self-hatred about where I am. Because what I've realized as far as depression goes is that I get super depressed and anxious if where I want to be and where I am are so far apart. And I can't seem how to make that connection and get to the other side. And interestingly, my first video started off with extremely pragmatic how to A, B, C, D, get better. But to be fair, sometimes you don't have control, and that's just being shown to me over and over again. And so in not having control, I'm learning who I really fucking am without having this magical life that I can tell you I manifested all of this stuff. That I'm still sitting here talking to you with a roof over my head, and a job, albeit a new one that I'm going to try for a while as long as I can, but I'm still alive, basically. So that's kind of like the acceptance piece is, hey, this is where I am. It's okay that I'm here. It doesn't have to be forever, but it doesn't have to be that I'm going to cure myself or change myself because as I am right now is not okay. That's something I'm challenging you to really look at, is the fact that when we don't accept ourselves, we think that we're not okay. And that's some form of self-love that I am struggling profoundly with, and I'm really trying to work through it. So I give you that challenge too. If you feel like your weight is shitty, or you feel like you can only walk to the bathroom when you'd rather be running a marathon, acceptance of where you are is integral to you actually moving forward, because once you accept yourself, then your ego stops butting up against the fact that you're not okay how you are. So once that kind of calms down, then sometimes I actually get more motivation. So the second facet to acceptance is that for forward progression, I lost my train of thought. You take motivation as it comes. So if you're accepting that you feel like shit 90% of the time, but you get these blips of, hey, I want to clean, or hey, I want to spend time with my friends, or hey, I want to do this project, follow that blissful energy. I don't think it's an accident that we're really supposed to be still and quiet sometimes, and then other times we're just supposed to listen and feel that spark and go with it. I think that self-help stuff is great, but I think it's also can be really damaging because, again, it doesn't let us accept where we are as being okay. So that is another thing I've learned. The whole time I've lived in California, I have not been going to yoga, for example. I used to go to yoga every single day for a couple of years, and I felt really great about my body and super in tune with myself. But you know what? I recognize that this is where I am currently, and that's also just as okay. So just really grasping that concept is extremely helpful in your mental health and physical well-being, actually. It's like a full circle. So that's the second component, is like following that motivation when it comes, but not pushing yourself and shaming yourself. And the third is the self-care. So I wrote myself a list because obviously I can lose my train of thought from time to time. And these are self-care things that I'm accepting with my current state and that I think and know are okay for myself. And they may not be socially acceptable to my boss or to my partner or to my friends, but these help preserve my basic functioning. So if I don't do these, then I'm not going to be able to function for myself, let alone be a good friend or be a good partner or be a good employee. And it's up to them to yield to these things that we need. And if they can't yield to them, then they should not be in our present life. It takes really caring and compassionate people to love us and employ us and befriend us. But you know what? Those are the kind of folks that we need around. So it all goes together. Truthfully, the last year and a half, I've been really fucking lonely. I've been really depressed, but I'm slowly coming out of it, and I'm realizing, hey, the vibration where I am, if people don't match that, then they're just not supposed to be there. And that's a form of acceptance that I've given myself in the last year. And I've actually slowly kind of been coming out of my shell and feeling like more connection to nature, and I feel more connected when I do just happen to have these instantaneous experiences with other people, and I don't feel so lacking anymore that I feel devoid of love and compassion. So that's good. And also I'm going to therapy, so that's super helpful. So back to self-care. Excuse me. My first one is making escape plans from public functions. It's easier for me to want to go to an event or a social gathering if I know that I can leave when I want. Otherwise, I probably won't go at all, or I will go but I will not enjoy myself because I'm so anxious about the fact that I'm going to disrupt someone else's experience by asking them to leave to take me home. So having an escape plan, that could be Uber, that could be a parent, that could be your own car, that could be public transportation, or only going to things that are within a safe, calm walking distance from your house. This is becoming super important because I want to enjoy the world and I want to enjoy social functions sometimes, but obviously I'm not going to walk home a mile from the train station and then turn around and walk to a social event, or go with my partner and feel very, motivated to socialize and really energized. I will be exhausted. So this is something that I have to assert myself on every time. Hey, if we're going somewhere, can you let me know when you think you're going to leave? Okay, if you're not going to leave at that time, then I'm going to make my own way home. It's kind of annoying sometimes, but super helpful in the end. Number 2, having a quiet and calm bedroom and or space that you can escape to. I find this so essential because I think honestly that many of us are incredibly energetically sensitive. So that means even if there's other people in the same space as us that are not talking, it can still be super overwhelming. Having a room where you like the textures, the lighting, the paint color, having low or no scent, all super helpful. If I don't get this, I'll completely fall apart. In fact, at work, I ask for breaks and I go sit in my car. So that's number 3, asking for breaks from work and family. It's evident, obviously, that we should be getting breaks at work, but I know for me, it's really hard to speak up and say, hey, I'm letting you know that I need to go rest my neck in my car, because in my head I'm thinking, oh my god, they think I'm so fucking weird, or they think that I can't handle this job, XYZ. I make up all of these stories in my head before I even ask. So with this job that I just got, I'm on my 3rd week, and I had to say, hey, you have me here for 9 hours a day. That means I need to go have an hour break. I drive my car across the parking lot, I park it, and I lay my neck back. And I just have to unplug from my boss's energies and my coworkers' energies and the energy of the space, because if I don't, then my shoulders end up here at my earlobes by the end of the day. I'm super pissed off, I'm angry, I'm in a lot of pain, and I'm exhausted because I did not have a moment to just breathe and reset. So, same goes for family. You can love the shit out of your family, but if you don't get a break, you cannot recover yourself and recuperate and take care of yourself and come back refreshed, being that person that you know that you are to them. Because if you don't get that break, you're just going to get worn down, and you're going to end up probably being an asshole, which is what happens to me. So, as you can tell, my language gets more and more crass as we go along. Number 4, finding rituals. That could be anything. For me, I try and find things that give me a euphoric feeling. That would be certain kinds of music, certain kinds of lighting, certain kind of nature environments. For other people, it's doing puzzles or watching specific kinds of movies. I do know that this is a kind of coping mechanism. As long as it doesn't get to an unhealthy level, I think that it's healthy. I know that anything, as far as a coping mechanism, can become addictive, so I just challenge you to watch yourself and make sure that you're not escaping all the time, because that is kind of the opposite side of things, where yes, you need rest a lot, but we don't want you to check out all the time, because then you won't enjoy reality at all. And number 5, self-care on a budget. I ask for the weirdest shit for my birthday and for Christmas, because I still have a hard time spending my money on self-care, because I know I struggle profoundly with the amount of income that I have coming in from time to time. As I'm sure all of you do, you are juggling medical bills, you are juggling the bills of the household, children, all of these things that you have on your back that you weren't necessarily intending to be this hard to deal with. So doing self-care for yourself, it's kind of like, oh, am I going to choose to feed my kids, or am I going to go get myself a neck massage? Something like that. So kind of the ways around that, I get really crafty. I do trades and barters. So on Facebook, there's community sites and things like that, and you can say, hey, I'll watch your kids for an hour, but I need a massage for an hour. That's the trade. Or going on Groupon and getting deeply discounted services, or if you need specific physical items, posting on websites like Nextdoor and FreeCycle and Craigslist to see if someone's just getting rid of those items, because to be honest with you, I think there's an overabundance of material items in specifically the United States, and that people throw out really useful things sometimes, and that's how I've gotten some of my items as well. So if you need a neck massager, actually I'll show you mine. I found this lovely contraption right at the corner of our apartment, because everyone gets rid of their items right at the corner, and I got it for free, and it's a trigger point massager, and I love it, and it was free. So I'm always on the lookout for things that will help me that someone else doesn't need. So this is my video about acceptance, motivation, and self-care. I hope that I brought you some useful help, and I know that I was extremely talkative and spoke pretty fast, so I hope you could understand. I have some food on the stove, so I'm trying to ensure that I don't burn it. I hope that this finds you well this holiday season, and I look forward to hopefully being able to do more videos in the near future.